And she's changed. She's not the daughter I knew. My daughter was a much more giving, loving person than she is now.
What if everything we thought we knew about Meghan Markle's family life was a carefully crafted illusion? Not just royal drama, but a full-scale deception involving pregnancy, children, and public trust. That's the theory that's been quietly circulating beneath the surface of royal headlines. And now, it's gaining traction in ways no one saw coming. Before we dive into the disturbing details, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're not here to tiptoe around the truth like the mainstream media. This is where the filters come off. If you're tired of PR games and want the real story behind royal controversy, this is the channel you don't want to miss. Now back to the bombshell. It started with a simple but chilling question. What if Meghan Markle never gave birth to her children at all? Sounds outrageous, right? Until you hear who said it. This wasn't some anonymous internet troll stirring the pot. No, this came straight from Meghan's own father, Thomas Markle. He claimed that Meghan had her eggs removed and frozen years ago, long before Prince Harry ever entered the picture. Then came another gut punch. Meghan's brother reportedly stated that she underwent a hysterectomy, again before Harry was in the picture. If both those things are true, then the entire narrative about Meghan becoming a mother to two biological children, Archie and Lilibet, completely falls apart. But it doesn't stop there. The deeper you go, the messier it gets. At the center of this theory is money, or rather, a lack of it. Storing frozen eggs isn't cheap. We're talking $8,000 to $9,000 a month to keep them preserved. That's not a one-time payment. It's a monthly expense that racks up fast. Now consider this. Meghan was reportedly making around $7,000 per episode on Suits, and she wasn't even in most episodes. Her total screen time across the entire show barely hit 2 hours. That's not exactly the kind of paycheck that supports high-end fertility storage. So what happens if you can't pay the storage fees? Simple. You lose the eggs. They're discarded. Gone. Which raises the obvious question. If she couldn't keep them and she had a hysterectomy, then how on earth did she end up with 2 children of her own? This is where the theories go from strange to downright unsettling. Because what the public has seen of Meghan's children has been, frankly, odd. There's minimal footage of genuine mother-child interaction, no candid hugs, no chaotic but sweet mom moments, nothing that makes you go, wow, she's really in this. Instead, there are posed photos, stiff videos, children who don't look comfortable, who sometimes don't even look like the same children from one appearance to the next. And yes, people have noticed. One of the most talked about examples, a Disneyland sighting. People pointed out that the child seen with Meghan one day didn't seem to be the same child seen the next day. Same location, same family, but allegedly a completely different kid. Different face, different build, even different energy. Coincidence? Maybe. But it gets weirder. Enter the infamous moon bump clip. Meghan is seen walking around a hospital, visibly pregnant, except the footage shows her belly shifting unnaturally. Like, really unnaturally. People zoomed in, they slowed it down, they analyzed it frame by frame, and what they found looked less like a baby bump and more like a foam prop. That alone would be scandalous enough, but the timing made it explosive. This happened during the pandemic, when hospital policies were locked down tight. Maternity wards were some of the most secure areas in any medical facility. Visitors were limited. Filming was strictly prohibited. And yet there she was, filming, posing, strutting with what many believe was a fake pregnancy belly. If true, that's not just deceptive, it's potentially illegal. Now take a step back and look at the big picture. Meghan's interviews, where she should be radiating maternal joy, are oddly cold. Her tone is flat, her body language is stiff. It's as if she's reciting lines from a script instead of speaking from a place of love and connection. Even Thomas Markle commented on this shift. He said she's not the daughter he once knew, that the kind, loving woman he raised had vanished, replaced by someone colder, more calculated. And here's the thing, he's not alone in thinking that. This isn't a smear campaign. These are family members raising red flags. And when the people closest to someone start questioning the most basic truths about their life, you listen, but not the media. They've been disturbingly silent on the topic. No questions, no investigations, just smiles, compliments, and fluff pieces. And the public? They're told to move along. Nothing to see here, but there's plenty to see. Where are the birth photos? The hospital confirmations? Even a single blurry paparazzi shot of Meghan genuinely pregnant? This is a couple that has been under media scrutiny for years. They can't step outside without being photographed. And yet somehow, Meghan's entire pregnancy journey is a ghost town. That's not just odd, that's statistically impossible. Then you add the issue of the children's birth certificates. At one point, Meghan's royal title was reportedly removed from the document, then later added back in. That's not a typo. That's not standard operating procedure either, especially not in the US, where royal titles aren't legally recognized on government-issued documents. In fact, it caused so much confusion that, according to insiders, immigration officials actually reached out to King Charles for clarification. That's not normal. That's red flag territory. And while Meghan's story has more holes than Swiss cheese, Harry isn't exactly an innocent bystander. He's been playing along the whole time. He smiles in photos, parrots the PR lines, and even fought behind the scenes for the kids to be granted HRH titles. The very titles Queen Elizabeth had supposedly forbidden for children of non-working royals. According to multiple reports, Charles gave in. Just like that. Think about what that means. The monarchy's own rules were bent, or broken, for Meghan and Harry. Why? Why grant those titles if the foundation of their story is so murky? Why pretend everything is fine when there's every reason to believe something isn't? So, why would Meghan go to such lengths? Why risk scrutiny, legal consequences, and public backlash to keep up a narrative that seems more fragile by the day? The answer, for some insiders, boils down to power and permanence. Having royal children isn't just about legacy, it's about leverage. Two kids born into the British monarchy, especially ones who carry HRH titles, offer a lifetime of public relevance, access, and brand equity. Whether or not Meghan biologically gave birth becomes secondary. What matters is the belief that she did. That belief, if maintained, locks her story into the royal lineage forever. And let's be clear, it's working. Every time a tabloid runs a headline about Archie or Lilibet, it reinforces the narrative. Every time Harry gives an interview about fatherhood, it lends credibility. Every time Meghan posts a polished photo with one of the children, it resets the stage for public perception. That's the real play, controlling the narrative so tightly that the truth doesn't even matter anymore. But cracks are forming, and they're getting harder to ignore. For instance, there's a clip where Meghan is holding a toddler, presumably her child, but everything about it feels off. The way she holds the child, the lack of eye contact, the stiffness. It's not what you'd expect from a mother. There's no natural affection, no small moments of tenderness. It feels staged, coordinated, performed. And then there's the constant presence of handlers. In nearly every public sighting with the children, there's someone lurking close by, directing, correcting, hovering. It doesn't feel like a family outing. It feels like a photo shoot. People are noticing. Even fans who once defended Meghan fiercely are starting to ask hard questions. Why do the kids always look uncomfortable? Why do they never speak in public? Why is there so little evidence of genuine parenting? And here's the bigger question. If these children aren't biologically hers, and if the palace knows it, why is everyone pretending otherwise? Is it fear, protecting the crown? Or is there something even deeper at play? Something we're not supposed to understand yet? Every time critics raise these questions, Meghan's defenders shout, "Privacy!" But that defense is wearing thin. Privacy doesn't explain a potentially fake pregnancy. Privacy doesn't explain inconsistencies in children's appearances. Privacy doesn't explain a years-long coordinated effort to stage manage a royal narrative. At some point, this stops being about personal boundaries and starts becoming a question of public deception. Especially when Meghan continues to use her royal titles in branding, continues to feature the children in curated content, and continues to benefit financially from a storyline that may be fiction. Now layer in the timing of the now infamous twerking video. Just when fresh whispers started surfacing about the kids, boom, a viral video of Meghan dancing awkwardly in a hospital gown. Social media lit up, not with questions about motherhood, but with mockery and memes, a perfect distraction. Classic. PR sleight of hand. make enough noise to drown out the signal, but this time it didn't work. Instead of silencing the speculation, the video made people even more suspicious. Why the sudden outburst? Why now? Was it really just a cringe-worthy moment, or was it an attempt to pull attention away from more serious concerns? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Meghan's strategy seems to be rooted in the Kardashian playbook. Create headlines, stir controversy, dominate the feed. But the stakes are much higher when your brand is tethered to the British monarchy. Kim Kardashian didn't fake a pregnancy to secure global influence. Meghan allegedly did. The comparison breaks down quickly. Meghan isn't just a celebrity, she's a former working royal. Her actions have implications for the monarchy, for diplomacy, for public trust. And if that trust has been hijacked as it appears, then this is far bigger than just one woman's brand-building exercise. And what about Harry? He's not just playing along, he's a full partner in the act. This is the same man who once declared war on the press for invading his family's privacy, now seemingly orchestrating PR stunts and calling paparazzi when it suits him. He launches lawsuits when the headlines turn negative, but invites media attention when it helps the narrative. It's hypocrisy in high definition. Meanwhile, the palace remains silent. No denials, no confirmations, no pushback, just a quiet, uncomfortable tolerance. But make no mistake, silence is not neutrality, it's complicity. By refusing to address the growing mountain of contradictions, the royal family is indirectly validating them. And every day that silence stretches on, public trust erodes a little more. So now, when Meghan posts a picture with one of her children, it doesn't inspire warmth, it inspires doubt. When Harry gives a speech about family, it's not touching, it's triggering. Because the question at the heart of it all is simple. What if none of this is real? The hospital silence, the pregnancy, anomalies, the photo inconsistencies, the timeline contradictions, the family's own damning testimonies. At some point, all these red flags stop being coincidences. They become evidence, and the longer Meghan and Harry act like everything is normal, the more the public sees it for what it is, a performance. One that's growing harder to sustain with each passing day. People are connecting the dots. They're not just asking if the story is true, they're asking how much of it was always false. And when that tipping point comes, when the questions become louder than the curated answers, the fallout could be explosive. Because if this deception runs as deep as some believe, then we're not just talking about Meghan Markle faking a pregnancy. We're talking about a coordinated image con involving the royal family, the press, and possibly even world governments. That's not tabloid fodder. That's a full-blown scandal, and it might already be unraveling. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. This story isn't over, not by a long shot. We'll be following the next chapter as it unfolds. When the truth finally breaks through the illusion, you'll want to be the first to know. See you in the next video.